Elis James and John Robbins. Radio X.
That was Live and Let Die by Guns N' Roses. Good morning, you're listening to Radio X. My name's Elis James, and to my left, well, it's an empty chair. Now, John Robbins isn't with us at the moment because he, incredibly, and I love this, he slept in. Basically, he did an Elis. He dropped an Elis. He pulled an Elis. He never does this. And for once in my life, I've known the man 10 years. I have the moral high ground. I cannot wait to take advantage. Now, we were a bit worried at one stage, but producer Dave got hold of him. Now, I understand, Dave, that when he picked up, apparently the air turned blue.
Yes, it was one word only, and it's not a word I can repeat on the radio.
Righto, okay, so we'll try and imagine the sort of state of mind John is in. He slept in. Also, listeners, if you're a regular listener, you'll know that John absolutely hates lateness.
Yeah.
But his girlfriend's just texted me some other historic examples of John's lateness, which I'll pepper throughout the show. I'm really looking forward to that, so that's going to be great. But he presumably he's jumped in a taxi. He hasn't had a shower. I know that he absolutely hates to do anything without having washed his hair, so presumably that's also going to affect his broadcasting. If you're a new listener, since we became Radio X from XFM, you haven't heard the show before, don't worry. The fact I'm not here with sort of 50% of the team is fine. I'm a very, very, very competent broadcaster in my own right. So you needn't worry. There's a steady hand on the tiller until he turns up. But when he does turn up, I'm going to take the mickey until 1 p.m. That's right. We'll be with you until 1. Obviously, there's the interesting question of the fee. Do I get some of John's fee? I mean, sort of technically, morally, I think I should, but I'm a nice bloke. So
I think that's between you and John.
It is, but I think it's a debate we can have on air.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's a debate maybe we can have on the texts and the tweets. If you'd like to tweet at Radio X or text 83936. Should I be paid some of John's wage? Who knows? These are all very interesting questions. It's a moral maze, isn't it, John's lateness?
Yeah.
It's a moral maze, but I mean, I was about 5 minutes late. I missed the first link about a year ago. Do you remember this?
And he lapped it up.
He did lap it up, and routinely when we have meetings, discuss the show, if say the meeting starts at 2 and I turn up at 2:04, at 2:02 he will text me with tick tock. So that's a mark of the man. That is the sort of person we are dealing with. And yet, where is he? He's currently, presumably, in a taxi halfway between Lewisham and Leicester Square. I am so happy. Now, do you know what? I was tense because Wales are playing Bosnia tonight. We could qualify for Euro 2016. We haven't played in a major championship since 1976, before that 1958. So it was a big day. But now I'm so happy about this. I've sort of stopped worrying about the football. So
this could be the perfect day, couldn't it?
Maybe he would. Yeah. Oh my God.
It started well for you.
I would have thought I've lost my wallet, but now
don't
I don't
about
care.
it.
Yeah, we'll also not mention the fact that I lost my wallet, because that's put the ball straight back into his court, because people assume that I'm a loser. And when you've been a historic loser, like I was sort of 92 to 2005, it's very difficult to shift that sort of expectation, and people think, oh yeah, Elis doesn't know where his keys are. Yes, he does. Elis's keys are in his bag. And the other thing Elis doesn't like is referring to himself in the third person. and he doesn't know why he's doing it, but he is. But anyway...
Can everyone tweet John, just TikTok?
Yes!
That'd be great.
Yes, he's at Nomadic Reverie, which is the name of an Edinburgh show, if you're interested, from a few years ago. At Nomadic Reverie, TikTok. If he could get 500 to 600 Twitter notifications, that would be absolute. That would be bliss. That would be music to my ears. That would be perfect. But anyway, we've got great music. We're going to get him on the phone as well.
Yeah, we have
get
to
him on the phone, because I think he needs to put a shift in. I think he needs to pull his weight, and if it involves him broadcasting from the back of a taxi, then so be it.
Elis James and John Robbins. Radio X.
Queen of Peace by Florence and the Machine. You're listening to Elis James, one half of the Elis James and John Robbins show. But John Robbins, he's in the back of a taxi because he slept in. He's decided that setting alarm. I mean that's too much for him. Too much for someone like John. No, I don't need an alarm. I'm not that sort of person. Just heard from his girlfriend that he hates being called Scatty. So if you want some sort of word count check, check over the next 3 hours. I think scatty is going to be way above and or the or any of the other words you'd expect to be up there. So we're going to get him on the line. We're going to get him on the line in a little bit. I think this is the best day of my life. I think this is the best day of my life.
Radio X. Elis James and John Robbins.
Love song by The Cure, and now on the line we have occasional, sometime contributor to the show, John Robbins. John, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, mate.
John, do you know what? If this phone call goes well, we could maybe get you a permanent position on the show.
Shut your face at once.
Yeah, you a bit scatty, John.
I'm not. Shut your mouth. I'm not. Listen to me right now. I'm not this guy. I don't do this sort of thing. I don't lose my phone. I don't knock coffee over important documents, and I am never, ever, ever, ever late. So shut up and go.
John, you're creative. You've got a scatty side. That's fine. We all have a...
If you call me scatty one more time, I'm going to jump out of this train.
Because Shakespeare was scatty. Shakespeare's a very creative bloke, dead good at iambic pentameter. What?
Did he say gypsy?
No,
scatty?
Shakespeare, not gypsies.
He was not scatty. He wrote to a deadline for Elizabeth I and then James I, and he always submitted time.
Yeah, but you know, I bet
I'm like him, and you are late. Actually, you're late to this train ride with me.
I bet Shakespeare lost his quill from time to time. That's the thing, of course. Obviously, I bet Shakespeare lost his quill from time to time.
He always had spare quills like I'd have spare quills.
See, the great thing is John is now claiming that he'd always have a spare quill had he been a writer in the sort of 15th and 16th centuries. But the signal's going because he's on the train, because he's late, because John is scatty.
I'm not scatty. You. This is how unscatty I am.
Oh, yeah.
You were so concerned, not that I was late, that I died, that I got a call from my girlfriend who is on holiday in Greece. She was so worried, because you've obviously contacted her as well.
Well, because I thought you'd both been scatty together. I thought you'd both been scatty together. She had her phone on.
When you're late, everyone assumes you slept in or got confused by cereal. Yeah. Whereas I am late, it's such a serious breach of the Robbins code that people assume I've died.
It's a serious breach of the Robbins brand. You see, when I'm late, it's actually good for my brand because somehow I've managed to create that into a sort of world-beating formula that means that I'm, I don't know what it means. It means that I can get to the Radio X studio on time. But anyway, what's your ETA?
What? Go on.
What's your ETA?
My ETA, I'm getting in Charing Cross in 10 minutes, then I'm going to buy a tomato mozzarella croissant.
No, you're not, John. Forget the croissant. Forget the croissant. Just get to the studio.
No, because I've already worked it out, because even if I ran there, I would get there during the news.
What?
And so
what if I run out of chats, John?
Well, that's the problem. I'd be absolutely nailing it right now. Yeah. And this is actually a test that we've set up for you, Elis.
Right, okay. So everyone, top brass at sort of Radio X are all in on this? Is Dave?
Yes, they're all listening now.
It's an early April Fool, right? Okay. Well, hopefully I can step up to the plate.
What have you riffed on so far?
Lateness and scattiness, basically.
Oh,
have you checked your Twitter yet, John?
No, I haven't checked my Twitter.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
I am not so superficial that in a crisis I would check my social media standing.
I'd check it. I would check it if I was you, John.
Oh, God.
I think you might be a hashtag. Someone tried to start the hashtag Time Waits for No Robbins, which is superb, but I think slightly too long. I would go for TikTok Robbins. I think if we can get TikTok Robbins trending worldwide, that would really make my day. But anyway, John, I think it's time for some music now, because I'm driving the desk, because I'm here.
You're not driving.
I'm not driving the desk. All right, don't admit that I can't drive the desk because I'm too scatty that Dave does it.
You could drive a bumper car.
Yeah, I can. I've got a Volkswagen Golf, mate, and you know it. And it has been caught up in the whole diesel scandal, but we're not going to talk about that.
Radio X. Elis James and John Robbins.
You're listening to Elis James on Radio X. John Robbins is late. He's winging his way into the studio. Fair play, listeners. Your tweets have really, really made me laugh this morning. We've had some absolute belters. Obviously, because he's late, you've been tweeting him at Nomadic Reverie with TikTok. I'd like the hashtag TikTok Robbins to trend worldwide, because when I'm a minute late, that's what he texts me. He texts me TikTok. Also, if I'm late, he might be a bit down, and he'll say that he's got post-Elis lateness gloom. He really hates it. He also hates being called scatty. That's great. If you'd like to just tweet me, maybe with an idea for a track, a lateness themed track, I'm at Elis James. You can tweet me at Radio X as well. But anyway, we've got lots of great music coming up, and we might get him on the line. I don't think so. I think we'll wait until he's in the studio. He'll probably be here by about 11 o'clock, I imagine, because obviously he's got to get his tomato and mozzarella baguette, which
Unbelievable.
which I think is extraordinary. I mean, the idea that he's 40 minutes late broadcasting. He's still on the train, 40 minutes late broadcasting on a national station. And he's like, well, I can't do anything without my tomato mozzarella baguette. That is because when someone is late, right, when someone is late to meet you and they walk in with a cup of coffee from Nero or Costa, whatever, you think to yourself, oh, don't take the mickey, mate. Come on. There's a certain etiquette, and I should know about being late. You apologise, you look harassed, and you do not have a coffee or a sandwich.
And you pull it off brilliantly, by the way.
Thank you,
The harassed
Dave.
look is
the
great.
The harassed look.
Yeah.
If you've got slightly wavy hair, it's perfect, because then you can sort of rough it up a little bit. If
Look
you
a bit
haven't-
dishevelled.
Yes, if you haven't shaved, that looks superb as well. But what you can't do is turn up looking great, having had a wet shave, and maybe wearing a suit with sort of, a sandwich from Pret and a coffee, saying, oh, sorry, I'm 40 minutes late. I don't know what happened. I know what happened! You were in Pret and you were putting a three-piece Swiss suit on that you got from Moss Bros, and you were having a wet shave. What? But John, obviously, this is all new to him. He alleges that this lateness. So he's off to Pret. He thinks I can, hold the fort until he gets his sandwich or baguette of choice. That's fine. If anything, I suppose it's it's a compliment, isn't it? It's a compliment.
Radio X.
Elis James and John Robbins. Radio X.
We're still waiting for John Robbins to make an appearance. I mean, it should be any time now, depending obviously on how long his sandwich took. If you'd like to tweet us about the etiquette of lateness, I think you need to look harassed, as scruffy as possible, and be very apologetic, and not have a cup of coffee or a sandwich in hand. John obviously has broken that piece of etiquette. He will claim that it's all new to him. We've had some really great texts and tweets in on John's lateness. My favourite one is, where is it? Asking, saying that Freddie Mercury would be ashamed, and I think such a good point. My favourite bit of Robin's Gate so far, Robin's Late Gate. Is that the hashtag? Maybe. Producer Dave's reaction to his stopping off for his sarnie. People are suggesting we should play Late in the Day by Supergrass, as it embodies the Robin's value of lateness, and Oxford as well. Now, Helen Joyce says, "Don't be so mean, Britain. It's awful sleeping in. Imagine how you'd feel if the whole country knew." Right? I agree. I've slept in myself, and it is a horrible feeling. However, he never lets it lie when I do it. So this is my one chance. Schadenfreude is the German word. Whereas I'm playing Germany today, we're playing Bosnia. I don't know why I brought that into it. It's just I'm obsessed by the match tonight, and I can't stop thinking about it. This is the only thing that stopped me thinking from about the game. But anyway, so John, he should be here anytime soon, and then obviously we'll get him straight on air to do his job. That's what he's contractually obliged to do. We've got music coming up from the Arctic Monkeys and Foo Fighters. You're listening to Elis James and John Robbins in a bit on Radio X.
Radio X. Elis James and John Robbins.
Knee Socks by Arctic Monkeys, listening to Elis James on Radio X. Still waiting for John. He's on his way in. Obviously, the man slept in. Who knows when he'll arrive? It should be quite soon, I imagine, hopefully, because obviously when we chatted to him earlier, he was on the way to... he was on the train from Charing Cross.
Here he is. Coming now.
Oh, here he is.
Here he comes.
Oh, dear. Oh, he's got a very sad sort of walk of shame look on his face.
Hello.
Hey, man.
Hi, John.
What's the time? 11:08?
Shut up.
What time do you call
Why are
this?
you in my... Where am I? Why is Elis in my seat?
What do you mean? What? I'm just in I'm in the broadcasting seat because I've been here
But that's
since.
my seat.
You can't make me change seats at this late stage because I've got quite comfortable in your seat. To be honest. John, how was your breakfast, John?
Well, I haven't had it yet. I just got it from Pratt.
Oh, that is unbelievable. Have you had a shower?
Yes, I've had a shower.
What are you on about?
You can't leave your house without a shower.
If I'd slept in like you had, because we were calling you at 5 to 10 and you were still asleep, I would just have I would have brushed my teeth, but I wouldn't have had a shower.
No, I had a shower but didn't brush my teeth.
Oh, okay, interesting. This is the interesting etiquette of a man who's not late very often.
I have a timer on my electric toothbrush and I will not stop before it sort of zhuzhes 3 times in a row.
Okay, I mean, you could, if it wasn't an electric toothbrush, obviously you could have brushed your teeth in the shower, like people do in films.
Okay, I wasn't in that state of mind to come up with that sort of time saving.
You washed it, found the time to put product in your hair.
I haven't washed my hair, I washed my body. God.
Do you know what we've had? We've had so many texts and tweets.
I know we've had so many texts and tweets because I received them.
But we've had a request. It's not actually on the XFM, the Radio X, playlist. However, I think it's very, very appropriate and prescient for this morning. So, Dave, if you could hit the track.
I love the
Scatman, John.
No, I love the Scatman. It's one of my favourite songs.
And I didn't realise
I had the CD single of this with 5 different remixes.
And I didn't realise that it was written about you, Scatman John, Scatty old John.
Yeah, everybody starts one way or the other, so check out my message to you. As a matter of fact, to let nothing hold you back. If the Scatman can do it, so can you. I'm the Scatman.
He's not lying. He likes the Scatman.
It's a message of hope.
For latecomers everywhere, it's a message.
Things you call dead haven't yet had the chance to be born.
I mean, is that a lyric, or is that's not the darkness of Robin?
That's not a threat. Also, Scatman's World. Ska-bo, be-bo, ba-ba-do, ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Backfired. It has backfired.
It's brilliant.
That is the amazing, that is the odd quirkiness of John Robbins. You play something so you think it'll wind him up, and then you realise that he's obsessed by it. Like, I never would have assumed that you'd be a fan of Scatman John.
I've got both singles.
Both.
And I remember the interview he did with Zig and Zag. Do you know what his last words were before he died? I have tasted beauty.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, this has backfired because John now is going to start crying about sort of...
No, I'm pleased with Scatman John's output and his life in general.
What, do you know much about his life story?
Oh, goodness, I was reading about him the other day. He died of lung cancer.
Right.
So we'll start with the cheery stuff.
Okay, how long did he scat for?
His prominence came. He was quite big in the sort of the Eurobeat phase of the late 90s.
Right. Okay.
Eiffel 65, that era.
Yeah, that sort of thing. I think you can really, in many ways, trace his influence right through to modern hits, such as what's that one with the 2 girls getting off the plane?
I don't know, but why haven't you done Scatman John on When the Play's On?
Good point.
I mean, you've been messing around with Frank Zappa and Queen.
I haven't done Frank Zappa yet,
haven't you?
It's too big a mountain.
You should have done, instead of Ronnie O'Sullivan, you should have been doing Scatman John. He's only got 2 singles. You could have been doing it for weeks.
5 remixes of each.
Yes, good point. Very good point. We've had so many texts in. John stepped in. I did a spin class to Queen. I'm surprised that John didn't sense Queen being used for good. A lot of people have said that Freddie Mercury would be very, very upset with your behaviour this morning.
No,
how's that make
right.
you feel?
Here's what happened.
That is disgusting.
Here's what happened. I got home from my gig at 9:30. I'm keeping it 0.0% session. I watched The Banquet of Great British Menu. For weeks now, 8 weeks, I've been watching Great British Menu, the regionals, the finals. It's banquet time. Michael O'Hare's cooked a fish dish, which has made me nearly cry on 3 occasions.
Right, okay.
It's about the history of the women's rights movement. I went to bed.
Dish.
Yes, actually, mate, it's amazing.
To believe.
I went to bed. I read The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins for 2 hours. Ooh. I went to sleep at 12:30, but I couldn't sleep. I tried the usual techniques. I imagined I was a butler smoking a pipe on the lawn after a hard day's butlering in Victorian times.
Yes. Classic Robbins.
I listened to Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Okay. I tried to find the original version of Fantastic Mr. Fox audiobook that I listened to when I was a kid. It's not available on YouTube. I even looked up some Bible stories I'd listened to as a kid by David Kossoff.
I mean, this is all stuff that I would do if I was sort of bright and breezy rather than trying to get to sleep.
Well, I was kind of bright and breezy, but I was realising realising that sleep was increasingly late, I had had a cup of green tea. Not
Caffeine.
I know. Believe you now. I put in too many pearls. It wasn't just a normal cup. It was a Sports Direct mug.
Oh,
it's
no.
too big.
It's too big.
Big Sports Direct mug of green tea before trying to go to sleep. Are you insane?
And in the tumult of tea, Collins, Potter and God, I set my alarm for 6:45 p.m, even though my alarm uses the 24-hour clock system. I set it for 1939 and 1945, ironically, which is would have meant I'd have either been in time for the Second World War. So when you think about it, I was actually up 9.5 hours early.
Elis James and John Robbins. Radio X.
You're listening to the newly reinstated John Robbins on XFM, accompanied by Mr. Elis James, who has thrown accusations across the morning whilst I didn't have a chance to...
Right to reply.
A right to reply that I'm scatty. I'm not scatty. It's my least favourite personality trait.
I got a text message from your girlfriend saying that apparently when you first got together, you missed a Eurostar to Paris because you didn't wake up with your alarm because you're scatty.
That's not scattiness. I had accidentally set... This is the Apple's fault.
Right.
Because I had accidentally set a silent alarm. What's the use in that?
I didn't... On what? On what?
On my iPhone.
I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah, it's possible. You can set a silent alarm. That silent alarm cost us £250.
Oh.
I also once missed a flight to Cardiff because I got confused between 3 and 1 o'clock on the 24-hour clock.
I mean,
because one says 3 and one says 1.
I mean, the scattiness charge sheet is getting longer by the second, isn't it? And then I missed a flight, and then I missed a Eurostar, and then I missed a radio show.
Shut your mouth. When sometimes I am confused by green tea or Victorian detective novels, I get confused by the 24-hour clock.
Yeah, of course.
It's a confusing principle. I'm dead against it. Because you can't confuse AM for PM, but you can confuse 17 for 7, 19 for 9.
Well,
15 for 5.
I've never done that. If you have done that, please text us 83936 or tweet us at Radio X.
That's not the texter.
No.
What do you think
No. But I just need someone else.
And decimalisation, if you've got any thoughts about that.
No. I just need someone else to back you up on that, because I don't believe that could happen. I think it's easier to if on an alarm you're able to set AM or PM, because you can't really, can you? I've not seen that for years. I think you could mix that up, but mixing up 17 for 7, 5 p.m. for 7 a.m, I've never done that in my life.
I was full of excitement about the discovery of the Moonstone.
What are you talking about?
I'm reading The Moonstone by Wilkie
okay.
Collins,
Right.
which T.S. Eliot called the first, best and longest detective fiction in the English language.
Really? I know my mum's a big fan, but I've not read it myself. But
Very good. What have you been asking people to text? What have you done in my absence? What's been the big text topic?
Well, I gloated for about an hour and then you arrived. So basically it was that. I mean, but people seem to enjoy it.
Dave said you started to fall apart.
When you walked in, I did. Hey, Dave! Thanks. No, I didn't say that. Thanks, mate.
And you forgot your password.
No, I didn't forget my password.
Yeah.
There is a problem with the system because it doesn't recognise my email address for some reason. I don't know why is everyone shaking their heads? I'm the guy who's been holding this together. If it hadn't been for me, we'd have just been playing Foo Fighters for an hour and people wouldn't have been texting and tweeting TikTok for 60 minutes, having the time of their lives.
Over 50 notifications on my Twitter.
This is music to my ears.
And I knew that was going to bite me in the ass, texting you TikTok one day. And the thing was, when I texted you did you explain why TikTok?
Well, I was like 2 minutes late and you hated.
No, but I texted that with a sort of a sparkle in the eye. But it's
Which
one of
I
those texts.
didn't-
But it's one of those texts that it came across, I think, quite sullen.
Nasty and mean, yeah. Because I ran up the steps thinking,
Yeah,
John's sad.
But I was sort of going, TikTok. But
Well,
it came across as TikTok.
Yeah, it came across as sort of Guy Ritchie film.
Yeah, like
TikTok, mate.
like
TikTok.
Ray Winston was saying to you whilst holding a hammer in his hand.
Absolutely. Or Vinnie Jones wearing a long coat and he's about to beat me up using a car door, which is something I've never seen before.
Or Phil Mitchell with a wrench. Let's keep doing this.
Okay. Gary Oldman with a screwdriver and a nasty glint in his eye.
Or one of the Kemp brothers in Spandau Ballet.
Yes,
Martin.
but
Martin Kemp with a with
some
a
roll plugs.
with no, not roll plugs. No, with a
Come on, mate, think of
a
your
gun.
toolbox. All right, okay.
a Cockney gun.
A cockney. Anyway, I think it should. I think the records should show that the show has fallen apart since John arrived. But anyway, we've got music coming up from Oasis, Catfish on the Bottom End, and the Courteeners. You listen to Elis and John on X Radio.